Hi everybody, I'm Jeremy Cordeaux, Peter Clayton, with his new, not new throbbing heart, but certainly his greatest circulation.
That's it.
Rupert Murdoch would kill for your circulation.
Yes.
Do you have to take anything to keep all the...
Yes, I'm on blood thinners.
Not Drano or anything, it's all right, is it?
No, I've got to keep on blood thinners.
Blood thinners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I know people who've been on blood thinners. I've been taking that Cartier thing for years because the one thing you don't want to die of is a stroke. But anyway, look, be that as it may, it's all good grist for the mill. We'll go, and the good Lord determines that we will, or that we should. But I've got a certain mindset that if I can't take it with me, I'm not going to go. You know, how are you going to handle that at the pearly gates? There am I in my white E-type Jaguar with red upholstery, and I say, I'm not coming in without the... that's assuming I get up there, which is a wild leap of faith. I wonder who I would find up there if I ever got there. Be interesting. I'd probably have more friends down below. Anyway, I was talking to you yesterday about this prime ministerial speech. John Howard would have called it a headland speech. It was all about, you know, the future making in Australia, you know, the bringing manufacturing and industry back to this country when the Labor Party got rid of it in the first place. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But listening to this, I'll call it headland speech made by our Prime Minister last week about our future, I found myself confused. Yes, I know his words were not his own. Now, there is always a speechwriter. You know, not always famous, not always well known, but the words are written for these guys. And the Liberals are the same. I would have thought you would sack the Prime Minister and elect the speechwriter if you liked what he was saying. Seems logical to me. I mean, do you want the monkey or the organ grinder? No. But there's always a speechwriter. But it's strange. How is it possible that the Prime Minister doesn't listen to the words that he was saying? I listened carefully. The thrust of his speech was fine. I'd vote for that. But how can he, on one hand, talk about competitiveness and productivity, market reality, 21st century wisdom, while over so many years Labour and the trade union movement has seen to it that we can't compete. We are not competitive. While at the same time, Labour is destroying the economy with this senseless clean energy policy and net zero and all that crap. Great productivity and enterprise cannot be delivered with our present government's energy policy. That is a total, absolute fact. The government has forced up the course or the cost of energy, and probably the course of our history, and therefore, obviously, the cost of production. And they've done it to the point where we can never compete, unless there are some radical changes. I can't see that under these guys. Also, our tax system is not fit for purpose. A ramshackled collection of some 14,000 pages that I doubt anyone has read for 20 years. I doubt if anyone would sit down and read 14,000 pages of tax law. Replace it. Simplify it. You know, a great rule of thumb is the less tax you impose, the more money you collect. Now let me, if I can remember that, repeat it, because I think it's one of the great sayings. The less tax you impose, the more money you, the government, will collect. Now why wouldn't you be involved in that? Why wouldn't you be in that with your ears back? The Prime Minister could make a huge difference. He could. But not with a socialist ideology. You know, the world owes me a living, let's get everyone on a pension as quickly as we can. That's exactly where they're at. Unless you go to the Chinese socialist formula, or way, or manner. And that obviously has nothing to do with clean energy. No way. And it's got really nothing to do with socialism either. Now they may say that they are communist, you know, the Communist Party of China. Their whole focus is, well, capitalism. It's business, manufacturing, and prosperity, productivity. They make and export the solar panels. They don't use them. Oh, there's a bit of use, but they're not great fans. They quite sensibly use our coal. Quite sensibly. I think Anthony Albanese cannot see the forest for the trees. The media should have been all over this speech. All over him. And the words, questioning him. He would be on the ropes trying to answer because he clearly doesn't understand what he was saying, doesn't understand his own speech. Can't imagine how he would have approved of it. But then again, the media didn't understand it either. Because they didn't jump up and down and say, hey, this doesn't sound like Labour Party policy, Prime Minister. Well, it was a conversion on the road to Damascus, was it? What's happened? No, they just sat there, read the media release, took it all in, because that's all they're there for. They're just sort of there for window dressing, I gather, or to give some legitimacy to the words, the speech, the function, the occasion. Anyway, the big story on the weekend was about the cost of dental care. Well, it wasn't the biggest story, clearly, because of Bondi Junction. But dental care, you know, anyone who's been to the dentist recently will know it's very expensive. But like everything, you know, state to state, whatever you're buying, doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason. And like most things with teeth, or even to a certain extent your medical care in general, let the buyer beware. Let the buyer, the patient, beware. Shop around. But do you remember all those lefties who waged war against fluoride in the water? Gee, I can remember that in the 70s, I think. Of course, most journalists wouldn't. The single most important successful health initiative in the history of the world. True. Because from your teeth spring a whole lot of other problems, including heart trouble. What was the argument? Fluoride in the water, it will cause cancer. It will rot your bones. No. But no apology. They just drifted off and have probably moved on to climate change as their as their cause. Oh God, will we ever learn, ladies and gentlemen? Bit of good news, the Polywaffle is back. Pete, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Polywaffle is back. Polywaffle is back. It mightn't be global gobsmacking news, but thanks to Men's, which is a confectionery company here in Adelaide, down Glenburn Road at Glynde, the Polywaffle is back. And that's great. They're the same people who brought back the Violet Crumble Bar. And I tried, I put in a call on Friday at the dining room table, but I didn't really get anywhere with that. We might try again next Friday, because it's an interesting company. It looks around and sort of sees opportunity where other people see a problem. And I like that. Men's. I remember at 5DN we had a salesman who was part of that men's family. His name was Morton Menz. And he was a powerhouse when it came to sales. He was great, the Menz family. There's a good story in there, you know. A lot of good stories in families. Tanya Plibersek was in South Australia on Friday last week to announce a $17 million spend on the wetlands of the Coorong. $17 million. Don't exactly know how that is going to be spent, mind you. The Coorong, I don't know if you've been there, you know anything about it, but it's the troubled end of the Murray River. The mouth of the Murray River, often blocked. But wonderful bird life, nature. It's your traditional wetlands. The mouth of the Murray. It can be at times left with little more than a trickle coming through and out to the sea. Anyway, the recognition and the importance of these wetlands was duly recorded by the news media on Friday. Very good. As this minister waxed lyrical, she is the Minister for the Environment. This, may I say, with respect. No, I don't respect her. This woman, I can't say she's not across her portfolio. I don't know that she even understands her portfolio. I don't know that she even wanted her portfolio. She can't be stupid, but she doesn't know or care that wetlands are the greatest and most dangerous producers of methane in the world. Now, this doesn't worry me, but it worries all these bloody climate catastrophiers. Wetlands produce, responsible for 47% of greenhouse emissions. And she doesn't know it. That's bizarre. And no one apparently knows it either, because they would tell the minister, they'd call her over and say, hey, minister, listen, just be careful. There is a certain conflict here with what you're saying and what you're supposed to be doing. And we will spend $17 million to keep these wetlands around the Murray going strong. God help us. Stupid, stupid, stupid people. Now, I'm not saying that wetlands are totally bad. I wouldn't say they were, because I believe, like volcanoes and all these other things, they are part of the mix of things that we broadly call nature. But don't carry on about global warming while you are encouraging and financing it. Holy moly. Calm down. I may need a bypass, Pete.
So it's not a problem.
No?
Day surgery, it's okay.
Day surgery, okay. All right. As long as I don't have to carry it around in a basket with me or something. Do you know what makes more money, Pete, than the movies, music, and television put together?
No.
You don't?
No.
It's entertainment.
What?
It's exactly what I would say. And to my absolute disbelief, it's gaming.
No, I don't believe that, yes. Yeah.
$200 billion a year. Gaming. It's come a long way from the Pac-Man and the Dungeons and Dragons, was it called? Or was it Dragons and Dungeons? Anyway, you know what I mean. Amazing. Truly amazing. $200 billion a year. Anyway, they're presenting the annual BAFTAs at the moment. Gaming BAFTAs. They've got their own night. Crazy. It's a business and a culture that I don't understand. Pete doesn't understand it, but clearly it's very popular. And I would suggest we ignore it at our peril. I just think, what a terrible waste of time. You're sitting up there in your bedroom or down in the basement and you're playing with your computer. Playing games? What do you prove? What do you get? I can't tell you, by the way, how much I appreciate all the comments that you make on the postings, this posting on Facebook, and of course the podcast that comes from it, thanks to Andy Martin, and the comments we get and the regular calls we get from around the table, jeremycordeaux.com on Friday when we live stream the show from the dining room table. If I've got time, I saw something else that troubled me. The PNG, that's the Papua New Guinea government, is trying to do something about the primitive superstitions of their country. And there are many of them. These superstitions are currently practiced by the natives, have been probably for centuries. Some of these, of course, have resulted in the death of thousands and thousands of people accused of sorcery. It doesn't take much to have people accusing you of being a sorcerer in Papua New Guinea. There's never been a case where somebody's been brought to trial or arrested for committing murder of somebody who was accused of being a sorcerer. Terrible crimes born of ignorance and superstition. The PNG government is tackling this to their great credit. How they do it and what the outcome will be, I don't know. But here in Australia, we seem to embrace this sort of nonsense. Not only do we embrace it, we enshrine it. We believe in all this Aboriginal mumbo-jumbo, give it dignity and credibility. We even apply it to ourselves. Why? I can't show a picture of a deceased Aboriginal or mention his or her name. Why? What will happen? I mean, let tribal people have their customs and their superstitions, but a 21st century civilization, such as the one we have here in Australia, should not have nonsense imposed upon it, concocted, invented, customs dignified, respected and embraced without any logical reason. Now tell me, maybe on Friday, give me a ring. Tell me if I'm wrong. I would love to know. I really would. I've got to... I dropped these papers, Pete. Hang on. And I dropped my glasses as well. Yeah. Someone sent me on that very subject something I do want to read to you. It's worthy of comment. Mark sent this to me. The Welcome to Country ceremony was invented in 1976, I think I've mentioned this to you, by Ernie Dingo and Richard Wally to welcome Maori performers as a reciprocal gesture. There is no Aboriginal word for welcome to country, like there is the Maori word haka. How can it be that an ancient ceremony has no Aboriginal word for it? Yet they'll tell you. It's cultural and it's been there for thousands of years. Rubbish. Acknowledgement of country was invented in the 1990s. The smoking ceremony is also a recent invention, another Ernie Dingo special, circa 1976. There is no film or video evidence of any of these ceremonies at important events such as royal tours, football finals, 56 Olympics, etc., prior to the 1970s. Again, just concocted rubbish, but embraced. And Mark says, it is best to know the facts so that the myths cannot be forced down our throat. Oh, and also dot paintings were invented in 1971 by a white artist teacher called Jeffrey Barton. who then taught the style to Aboriginals who didn't know anything about it until 1971. There are no dot paintings in caves or on rock walls or any such thing. I mean, we are subjected to, with the Aboriginal industry, some of the greatest cons ever perpetrated upon a civilised, intelligent society. God, don't know. Makes me angry, though. Now, I've got to give you the dates for the 16th. Happy birthday, happy wedding anniversary. Where do we start? 1924, the first radio transmission of wireless. Okay. I wonder where it was. Doesn't tell me. Well, because we started 5DN down on Green Hill Road at Parkside in 1923, and that was wireless. I might check that one up. 1956, the first solar-powered radios go on sale. 1956? Really? George Washington heads for the first presidential inauguration as first president of the United States, 1789. Harriet Quimby becomes the first female pilot to fly across the English Channel, 1912. A lens to provide a zoom effect was demonstrated in New York on this day in 1947. How about that, Pete? No zoom lenses before 1947. Robert Stigwood, Australian-British music entrepreneur, RSO Records, Jesus Christ Superstar, Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Producer, he was born right here in Adelaide, South Australia. He died in 2016, but he was born this day in 1934. We heard him on the show many times. I knew his mother. I knew his mother well. She was a lovely lady. I don't know, well, if he's not around, she's not around. Madame Tussaud, French founder of Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, dies at 88 in 1850. 1939, the Soviet Union proposes an alliance with Britain and France to counter the Nazi Germans. The Soviets would later sign a secret agreement with the Nazis. Watch out for a Russian bearing gifts. 1945, the Battle of Berlin. The Red Army begins its attack on the capital of Nazi Germany, while the US troops capture Nuremberg. 1945, this day. The Battle of Okinawa. 1945. Henry Mancini, or Hank Mancini as he was called, American Grammy and Academy Award-winning film and television producer. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1924. He died in 1994. David Lean dies of pneumonia at 83 in 1991 on this day. And Annie Oakley sets women's record of breaking 100 clay targets in a row on this day in 1922. She was a crack shot. A crack shot. In fact, Winchester put out years ago an Annie Oakley commemorative rifle. All gold-plated and everything. Beautiful. Anyway, we got to go. Thank you so much for being with us. Peter Clayton and I will be back tomorrow. I'm Jeremy Cordo. Believe in yourself. And thank you for viewing the Court of Public Opinion.
If I should stay, well, I would only be in your way. So I'm gonna go, but I know I'll think of you each step of my way. And I will always love you. Yes, I will always love you. Bittersweet memories I guess that's all I'll be taking with me. Goodbye. Please, let's don't cry, 'cause we both know I'm not what you need. But I will always love you. I will always love you. I hope life treats you real kind, and I hope you have all you ever dreamed of. Oh, I do wish you joy. I wish you lots of happiness. But above all this, I wish you love. And I will always love you. I will always love you. I will always, always love you. I will always love you. So I sang the song. Porter said, "You can go, providing I can produce that record." And he did. And it was the biggest song I ever had.